Do you know if offices, is it common to have sort of like a panic button that like banks do? Is that something that many offices have? Do you know if offices, is it common to have sort of like a panic button that like banks do? Is that something that many offices have?
I am seeing more and more of that, and I
Okay.
always hear about it when officers mistakenly test their button. But so the cops show up. Whoops.
Yeah, don't do that unless you really know the cop and you can say, oops, sorry, and,
Yeah,
move on there.
it's always
Um,
assuring to know that it actually works, though. But
Right.
yeah,
No, I had heard about that up in North Dakota when I was there. And,
okay,
some of those offices, it's remote
yeah,
and cops are not right around the corner. And so
right,
they felt safe having some sort of panic button. And so they had talked this out. And it always surprises me. There seems to be two levels in audiences when we talk about this. There's the audiences who have probably had experience or very safety aware. And one office even said they have a room, a safe room, like their laundry room actually has a very like a solid steel door. So that's the room that they go to, and there's a phone
yeah,
inside. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's like a safe room, right? And then on the other side of the spectrum are offices that have not even considered this. And you can
yeah.
see like their eyes get wider and wider and wider as we start to share these experiences. It's also, we have crazy patients. Haven't you heard of these patients that stalk
All
team
the time.
members? I have heard this so often. And if you really think about it, listeners, in your office, it probably has happened and you just kind of thought about, oh, that's that creepy dude that always comes in, or that crazy girl that's always hot for the doctor, that type of thing.
Yeah,
But they can get very, very dangerous, I think, at times. So you've heard the
yeah.
stalking as well.
Oh
Okay.
yes, yeah, for sure.
And how are offices like, what do they typically do in those situations? Is there one plan of attack that you recommend?
I think communication is key. Communication with each other, being honest about what's going on, being honest about your fears, and working as a team to solve the problems together, I think is key. Sometimes, I mean, I get a lot of calls from people about that have difficult patients that they're like, we know that if we're going to dismiss this patient, that we have to do so, according to a certain protocol mandated by our state board. There's exceptions to every rule. And one of those would be life safety. If you have a patient that you're so afraid of, that you're afraid would physically harm you, that feeling that you maybe can't articulate, that gut feeling, I would say always trust your gut. And there's an exception to every rule. If you have to violate your state board's rule and not see a patient for that 30-day dismissal period, as not every state has that, but many do, make a police report, make an
Okay.
information report, make them aware. People ask me, hey, look, wouldn't that be a HIPAA violation? Well, look, first of all, under OSHA, you have an obligation to provide a safe work environment. Two, HIPAA doesn't protect patients from criminal offenses and their perception of violence, your perceived threat of violence, could be assault. At very least, it's a safety issue. And I would err on the side of your safety and make that police report. Identify that patient, say what needs to be said, and no more. So that doesn't mean that you can go out and air their medical history to the police officers, but you can certainly make that police report and identify the patient, who they are, where they live, how to contact them.
Would you like to hear more? Follow the link for the full episode.